Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope you are all good. I am well. Welcome to Relatable Stories. I'm your host, Angeline. And today we are going to be talking about the other woman. For those that have been reading the write up, we are usually judgmental about the other women. We don't know what their stories are. We do not know what they are about. And so today we just want to unpack. We want to discuss and understand what goes on in the mind of the other woman and try to understand the issues that actually drive somebody to want or to settle for being the other woman or in the background of somebody else's life. For those that are joining us for the first time, Relatable Stories is just a platform for us to share our stories openly. This is in order for us to cultivate self love because we've found and decided together that in order to grow or in order to harness our inner power, we must be self aware. We must be at a point where we accept ourselves, where we take care of ourselves, where we understand our worth, and therefore we can challenge any form of thought processes that are inhibiting our growth. We can then stop being victims. We can then start to become the leaders that we were meant to be. So, these stories we are not just saying for the sake of saying. We are telling this story so that you can find in your in your circle, your own life, the areas that you need to grow. And so today I'm excited to bring one of these women that are telling their stories candidly and openly in order to help us find these areas of growth. And this is just one topic that Sisno has. She has many, many other relatable stories because she is woman in progress, which is something that we all resonate with. So help me welcome Nono to the show. Um, Nonhlanhla, how are you today?
Hey, I am good, and how are you?
I am well, so happy to see you again on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure again to be on this platform with you. I look forward to, I don't know what type of a conversation we're going to have today, but I'm here, I'm ready, I'm prepared, and I hope we give out what needs to
Yes.
be given out. And let's see if we can have one or two women out there, even men, make better choices.
Amen.
Yeah.
Snow, last time I did a full-on bio. I sent it to people. But this time around, I thought since I already done that, I would like for you to just introduce yourself. We got cut short the last time when you were telling us about
I
how to
remember.
raise boys, but people were very excited to hear more about who you are and what you're about. So can you please just briefly introduce yourself, what you're about, what Woman in Progress means? Because WIP has become part of your actual name and you want to
Yes,
understand what that is
yes.
about.
Thank you so much. WIP is from Women in Progress, as you said. Women in Progress was born back in 2015 when I decided that I was going to use my life story to help others make better choices in life. At the time,
Mm,
the concentration was specifically on young people. And
right.
the youth has always been my first love. Okay. And that's because the story itself that I tell to help people started when I was only 15. So
Mm-hmm.
who's Nonhlanhla? Why am I called WIP? I took that name for myself and for the work that I'm doing because I realized that we are people who always look forward to some type of destination. But with
Mm-hmm.
life, I've learned that it is a progress, it is a journey that we are continuously unfolding every day. There is
Right.
no destination per se. One must just enjoy the journey. And in that journey,
Mm-hmm.
just make sure there is progress. And how do you make progress? One step at a time. And that is why I believe that Women in Progress takes one topic at a time, one person at a time, one change
Mm,
at a time, and continue with that progress. I am known to many as a motivational speaker, a youth
yes.
development coach, and an MC. What we are here for today is one of the topics that sit very heavily in my heart, but I've given myself the courage the same courage and motivation that I give to people, especially young people, I also give to myself, especially when I have to come and talk about the subject amongst many other topics that I deal with as a coach, as a mentor, as a speaker.
Hmm, that is
Yeah.
brilliant. That is beautiful. Here on Relatable Stories, you are part of the family because we are encouraging people to use their stories to help other people because your story
Sure.
can become somebody else's survivor guide. And it
Exactly.
shows me that you have come a long way when you have accepted that this is a story that might be embarrassing to tell for some people, but you're owning it, meaning that it no longer has power over you. Whatever
Yeah.
people can
No,
say does not
exactly.
have power over you, and that is so
No.
beautiful. And I'm really excited to hear, because for me this is a topic that I have never had anyone speak openly about. Even in our own little circles, we hush it because I think we are coming from a place of being judgmental. So I wanted to, without taking away from your story, you to tell us
Yeah.
exactly what happened. How did you become the other woman, if you have been? How have you felt about the other women in a space where you weren't as the other woman, but you were worried about them? So we just wanted to know about the actual story before we can start asking you questions, because I'm sure the guests, the people in the panel are ready to ask all sorts of questions.
Yeah, I hope I can answer their questions as well. But to get back to what you just said, let me first go back to the part where you said, this story no longer has power over me. It has had
Hmm.
so much power. It has had so much power over me that even at the time when I thought, I don't want to do this anymore, it still had so much power over me that it would pull me back to the same space I was in. That relationship, that so sharp that I no longer have anything to do with that. But still, that did not help. And to just lay out the what happened and just to start the story off, I'd like to start it from what I call the end and back to the beginning.
All right.
So here's a woman who is in her mid 30s in a relationship, and she's really praying and hoping and working and investing in a relationship because she sees, she wishes, she prays for a commitment,
Right.
marriage, marriage to be exact. But then
Yes.
during that time, during that journey, she deals with somebody that she left in her past. So this is me now. Life's going well. I'm in a relationship, but there's things that I keep doing. I take responsibility of that. There's things that
Okay.
I keep doing that sabotage my own relationship. These things happen over and over again. And at some point, I sat down and I asked myself, what was wrong? And I realized that I was actually scared. I was actually too weak to face me.
Okay.
I was so scared to meet the former me because now the former me was threatening my own relationship. I would
Hmm.
see things, you know, when you're seeing things and people think you're crazy. And yes,
Yeah.
there's people
Yeah.
who, yeah, yeah, I know there's people who have conditions that cause them to see things, but I was seeing things. But now those
Hmm.
things that I was seeing, to the next person, they were not real. You know, people would say, "No, you're exaggerating," but to me, they were so real because
Right.
what I was looking at me from my past.
So you were functioning from a place of fear.
Let me explain that. I know it still sounds very poetic, but
Yeah.
let me use this to explain it.
Okay.
That relationship that I'm talking about, that I was working in, that I was working for, that I was praying for and building, ended up crumbling. It did not materialize. The marriage did
Okay.
not happen. And when I looked back and said, let me look into me and see what could have been the problem, I then realized that in my past, I was once the other woman. But
Mm.
now it was my time to be a possible wife to somebody.
Okay.
I wasn't ready to meet the other woman. I wasn't
Okay.
ready to deal with the signs of the other woman, because I would look at
Mm.
my friend at the time, and when he does things and I'm thinking, this is what I used to do, this is what the other man used to do when I was with him, so chances are he's also having somebody.
I see.
Yeah, so that's when the wake up call came. That is when I decided to let go of this power that
Mm.
was dealing with me, because I was making bad choices in life. I
Mm.
was making choices that made me believe that all men did that. But I was wrong. Not all men
Yeah.
cheat.
Right.
Not all men cheat. But because I've been the other woman before, I couldn't face what I was doing to another woman back in my life.
Right.
And when people ask me, how did you get there? Now I'm taking you
Mm.
back. So I've
Okay.
explained to you, when did I have this wake up call? When did I look at this thing and say, it is so terrible?
Okay.
That was the time
Just before you
when I
go
couldn't
back,
handle my own relationships.
yeah. But I just before you go back,
Yeah.
you said that what you were seeing as signs of maybe there being another woman were actually not real. It was just things that were in your head because you had been the other woman before. Did I get that correctly?
Yes, I still have not been able, I've never even went further to try and prove a
Okay.
point. But what I know is that I was just paranoid.
Okay.
The things that I did, the accusations that I did, and some of the silly things that I would do to try and track and check and see if my relationships are safe, they were just
Mm.
crazy. And I realized that somebody was living in me, and I had to deal with her.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Got you. So yes, you can take us now to what happened.
Oh, why am I doing this first? Maybe let me explain that. Why am I
Okay.
doing this? The purpose of story are from two things that have become a prayer point for me. Firstly, to say, God, I story to help other women, and sometimes it's even older women. I know when I started this, I always used to say, I want to help girls not even think of falling in love with married men, right? But I know it's
Right.
happening even with older women. So my message is to say to those who are in there, and to those that are even thinking about it, I'm here to say, don't even go there. Don't even go there. One of the things that I was sharing with you during the week when we were talking is that not only is this guy cheating, you are also cheating, but you are cheating your own worth. You are selling yourself short. And some, like me, are not even doing it for money, because I did not do it for money. But whatever it is that you're doing with somebody else's husband, you are cheating on your worth. And one day you're going to sit in the same position I was and feel that somebody is not respecting you. A lot of people will call it karma. A lot of people will call it you reap what you sow, whatever it will feel like to you. One day you will sit as a woman and start thinking, am I ready to meet me? Am I ready to handle the things that I caused another woman to deal with when I was still with their husband? And that is why I am now sharing this message, because I'm hoping somebody will realize that this is not worth it. It's not worth it at all. Second thing to that is the reason why I wish people would stop this. And a lot of people say, oh, but it's the men who do it. Again,
Mm.
I was sharing with you, there was no relationship. There was only a man who was pursuing me. There was no relationship. The
Right.
only time there was a relationship is when I said yes. So
True.
I am saying, okay, we have men that are cheating. We'll deal with that. But
Right.
from my side, I am here to say, if women would learn to say no,
Mm.
then there wouldn't be. Who will they be cheating with if we said no?
Right.
If
Right.
I had said no, that marriage would not have gone through the challenges it went through. If I had said no,
Yes.
yeah, yes,
Yes.
he made his advances, but I was an adult. You can't
Mm.
say in my late 20s, no, I wasn't. And that is
Right.
why, even when I talk about this, I tell people that I'm owning up to my mistake, because it is called a mistake for people to mold it and put it nicely and cover it nicely. It wasn't a mistake at the time. It was a decision that I made. I was conscious. I was
Mm.
okay. I was an adult, and I decided that I'm going to go for this. It was for selfish reasons. I don't know why other people do it. Maybe they have their reasons, but whatever reason, it is not worth it. My reason was that at the time I was a mother with 2 children, and I just felt I'm done with relationships. But I still wanted a relationship. You see how stupid that is. I convinced myself that, you know what, I am done with men. All these challenges that I've had in my relationships, in my previous relationships, I'm done. But then what did
Mm.
I say to, what did I say to myself? But in that process, a marriage was affected. A
Yeah.
marriage was affected. But beyond that,
Mm.
here's the scariest part of this thing. This
Mm.
guy is not only cheating on his wife, he's also cheating on his children. Do you know how many adults we have today who are saying, I don't want anything to do with marriage because they saw how their mother struggled with their father's misbehaviors? Do you know how
Yes.
many do you know how many boys grow up to be men who think women are not worth anything, because my dad had 2, 3, some were just floozies that he would see, because our children see these things.
Right.
Our children see these things, and they
There are
grow
so
up
many people affected.
and they
Yeah.
build habits and they make decisions about their own lives because of the things that they witness their parents do. So
Doing. Yes.
if not for the wife that you're causing sleepless night, at least for the children, don't do it. Don't do it.
Right.
It is not
Right.
worth. Don't do it. Don't want to know how fun it is. Don't do it.
Yes. So before we go into the why we shouldn't do it, I'm really wanting to hear when it happened to you. Like I think I'm hearing parts of your story in that you were not ready for a relationship, but then funny enough you were ready to
Yeah.
just do something with
Yeah.
this married man. I want to just hear a journey if you're willing to share just a part of it, what how it happened, because I think a lot of us think it can never happen to us because we've never been in these situations,
Yeah.
but it's only when you find yourself in a particular situation do you now tend to understand, because like I said when I did the write up, the rude awakenings when your friend tells you I've made this choice, or when your sister tells you I've made this choice. Before that you're like, who does that,
Yeah.
so i
Yeah.
i kind of wanted to just, if you're willing to share now, understand the thought process of the girl that is in that situation, a desperate situation or a traumatic situation or a brokenness, that then
Yeah.
leads you to saying yes to the man when you're fully aware of what you are getting into.
Um, Relating back to those days when it happened, relating back to those years when it happened, today I call it selfish. At the time, I think it looked like a naive woman who thought just because she's been hurt by a couple of guys, then she no longer looks forward to
I think we have lost Whip. Whip, are you still there? Hello, Whip. To everyone in the audience, if you are listening, please ask your questions. If you've got
Hi.
any, are you back? Yes, we lost you
Yes,
there a
I'm
bit.
back.
You were
I'm
telling
sorry
us,
about that. Yeah, I'm
no
sorry about that.
problem. You were telling,
Yeah.
we
So
last
back,
heard you when you were saying it was naivety. You think
yeah,
there's a sense of naivety there?
yeah. And a sense of naivety and a lot of selfishness because I was hurting at the time. I was
Okay,
seriously hurting. And that is why one of the topics that I talk about, even now in my work, is healing from within. I had not healed from what had hurt me in the past. And it was in the near past, right? I did not even give myself time to heal. I was
right.
hurting. And instead of healing, I fell into another man's arms. And that man was married. Instead of
Mm,
me taking time to heal, no, I became selfish and went for the quickest route to healing, which we all do, pretending that you're happy, you all out because it was almost uh, it looked like a coincidence, right? But it wasn't. I was actually ready to go out there and mingle and see people and meet people, and I thought that was my way of healing. And the first
right.
person that came into my life was this person who made me feel so special, and I knew he was married. I know there's people that I've coached before. I know there's people that I've talked to before, and they say, "Oh, Sister, but I did not know he was married. I only found out." There's always signs, and I always tell people, look out for the signs. I know there's girls,
Right.
I know there's women who have been lied to. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry if that's how it happened. But to the likes of me who go in there knowing exactly that this person is married, and look, he comes with a very sweet story. And I don't want
Mm,
to generalize again, but I know a lot will come with a very sad story of how unhappy they are at home,
mm,
of how rocky the marriage is. And most of the times, they never even promise you that you are now going to be the wife. We go in there as the other woman.
mm.
What happens is you stay in that, and that's exactly what I did. So I went in there, I thought I was hurting, was looking for solace, and I got it, but I wasn't looking for a relationship that would again make me get so absorbed in or throw in my feelings, all of it. I was just in.
Yeah.
But 2 years down the line, and now read this. I'm saying 2 years down the line into
Mm,
that relationship, I was feeling like, okay, I think now I can be somebody. I think now I can come out. I think now he can introduce me. And that's the selfishness that happens while we are in that relationship. And
yeah.
that is why many of us in these relationship, we end up doing stupid things on purpose just so that the wife will find out that we are there. The
Yeah.
first year, the first year, I think it was easy for me to keep quiet when he was on the phone. But I
Mm.
think towards the second year and all of that, I would push a sneeze out of nowhere while he's talking on the phone. That's just how stupid and selfish it gets.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you
And
do have feelings, and even
yeah,
if you try to suppress them, their feelings are still there, right?
yes, that is why I'm saying he's not the only one who's cheating. You are also cheating on your worth because your worth
Okay.
comes out. It's
Right.
every woman's nature to want to feel special, to want to feel seen.
Right.
That's why people are in relationships, to have a sense of belonging. So don't
Mm.
fool yourself. Don't lie to yourself and say, no, I'll be decent. I'll remain the other woman. I won't bother him in his marriage. You're lying to yourself.
Yeah. It's
Don't,
not attainable.
don't even do it. Don't even try it. It's not You are not supposed to be that person who doesn't care. You are not supposed to be that person who's comfortable just staying in her corner. You are not born to be that.
Right,
So
right,
that is
right.
how it was for me in the 4 years that I was in that particular relationship, because this is a particular relationship. And I'll tell you later why I'm saying this is a particular relationship. In the 4 years that we were together, whew, did I have regrets during the time? Unfortunately, not.
Mm,
Unfortunately, not during the time, because during the time you get to a point where you start discussing this thing now in the open to say, okay, who am I? What am I doing? Who's
yes.
me? And you are given some very lame assurance, very lame assurance to say you have a part in my life, very lame
Mm,
assurance to say this is as good as dead, so don't don't even stress about it.
mm,
But it never ends. And that is why when I
right.
hear those who say, no, I stayed for 2 years because he said they are getting a divorce, it's taking longer, wara, 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 and these things end up not happening, that is where your worth was taken for a ride. And it is
Yeah,
not worth going into this to negotiate your worth. Because in
yeah.
that type
Because
of relationship, you always have to negotiate your worth.
yeah. So I feel like what you're saying, it's there is a first in the first few years or first few months, you think you can handle not feeling. You can handle
Yeah,
not
yeah.
feeling emotions.
Angel, can you hear me? I keep.
Okay, so I'm hoping that we can get Nono back, but for now, I'm just gonna read some of the comments that you guys were putting on the Facebook page. Cheating on your words is one of the things that she was saying, and definitely we want to all understand that. No, thank you very much for sticking around. I had a battery issue. I don't know
Okay.
where you I don't know where you left off, but you were still talking about how it gets selfish. But I wanted to probe on the fact
Yeah.
that
So
um
your question was around the fact that, so does it mean there's a time, especially in the first few months, maybe, or years, if it takes longer with others, where you are like, okay, I understand. And that's when I had said, yes, most of the times you always have this thing that, you know what, I'm going to be a good girl, I'm going to stick to my position, I know who I am in his life, and I'll stick to that. And it always ends in tears.
okay, because you will eventually and want more because you are human. And
It's in our nature as humans to want to belong, to want to feel, to want to want to be owned and own.
that's right. That's right. Okay, so I understand that. Guys, if you have questions for Sis No about her story, please share. But I've got a couple of talking points around this story that we prepared for us, because I feel that it gives us the lesson or the enlightenment that we really need on this broad topic. Because
Yeah.
like people have experienced it in different ways. I also mentioned that you probably also felt it on the other side of the coin, where you're worried about other women in your
It was
sister's
now my
lives. In your
turn. Yeah. It
yes,
was now it was
and
now my turn.
yeah, tell us about that. How does that feel? And if you've been the other woman, what does that look like?
One thing that delays, and it delays it significantly. One thing that delays healing is guilt. So guilt and regret are two things.
Okay.
You'll regret doing something. And
Mm-hmm.
as time goes on, you're okay. You've had your regrets. But
Mm.
guilt is deep and guilt takes longer. So here are areas of my life where guilt came in. When I was in a very steady relationship, and this is a relationship where two people are living together, two families are aware of the upcoming arrangements for wedding and all of that,
Right.
marriage and all of that.
Yes.
You start seeing things and you're quick to make a conclusion. So, one of the
Right.
things that frustrated my relationship a lot is that I did not come with accusations.
Mm.
I gave assumptions and was certain that this is it. So, I never asked questions. I would tell the guy where to get off because I think I know what he was doing. I
Right.
never opened discussions, and that thing ruined my relationship on so many levels. Yes, there's
Right.
other things that happened that contributed to the relationship no longer continuing. But one of the worst things was that I was this mean woman who'd
Mm.
come and tell you exactly what I thought of what you were doing because I know what is it that you were doing, right? It's because I've been in
Yeah.
that game. It's because I've
Yeah.
been in that game and I know it. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe I was wrong, maybe I was right, but I never even got to prove it.
Mm.
Because what guilt does to you is that when these things happen, you're quick to say, because I did it, maybe that is why it's now coming back to bite me. So you fight it.
Right.
And you fight it with your past. You're using
Yeah.
the past to fight the present. The
Mm.
second area where this thing affected me so bad was when I started seeing my younger sisters getting married. And I asked
Mm.
myself, I mean, they're my sisters and I love them. And I asked myself, what is the one thing that could ruin their marriages? I mean, they're young. My younger sisters married young. I was like, they're still young. What could be the worst thing that happens to them? And guilt said, they will meet you.
Sure.
Yeah.
That
It
is a
said to
rude
me,
awakening.
it is a very rude one. The worst fear I had for them was them having to meet me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
As for,
So
yeah,
yeah,
you
go
can
on.
continue to ask. As for me, couldn't even stand it. I could not
Yeah.
even stand the heat. I
Mm.
pulled out. I backed off. I let go. I said, okay, I am done. I'm okay because I could not stand it. I was not strong enough. I was not as strong as the people I did the other woman on. I wasn't that
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, no, no, if we had told you or given you that scenario of your own sister meeting you, the time that you were okay staying in the time where you were the other woman, would that have changed anything? Do you think, considering the brokenness, the trauma, and all of the things that led you to even settle for that kind of relationship, you would have been able to hear us had we given you this particular example?
Yes and no.
Okay, tell us the no.
Uh, you with everything that we do in life, if I can ask you now why you wearing you're wearing, you love
Mm,
them, you bought them, they remind you of. We have reasons for
right.
everything that we are doing. There was a time when I had my reasons for doing what I did. And the reason
Okay.
why I don't even want to dwell a lot too much on those reasons is because I don't want to give people excuses why they should do this. I don't care how hurt
Okay.
you are. Yes, I was hurt too, but I don't care how hurt you are now.
Okay.
Going to fall into another man's arms will not heal you. You will still
Okay.
be unhealed. And chances are, wounds that are not healed and just covered, they spoil even worse.
Okay. I
So the
hear
best
you
thing you
loud
can
and
do,
clear.
yeah, right?
So,
Another excuse would be, but he said he wasn't happy uh, in his marriage. 4 years,
yeah.
4 years, and you're still not happy and you're still not moving out. 4 years. So
Mm,
if you're saying he's not happy, I'll tell you from my experience, I will tell you he might take 4 years being in that marriage and unhappy,
yeah.
if at all that is even true. But for
Yeah.
me, it took 4 years. And remember, in that 4 years, I had to let go. It's not that he had now said, I'm changing my mind. Yes, we can get married. Yes, I've now separated with my wife. No,
You still
it
had to
was
let go.
it was God's grace that found me, and I felt this is not it.
Okay. I'm hearing you. So,
Somebody made me open my eyes to my worth, and they told me that you are worth more than this.
right. So
Yeah.
in a nutshell, I think this is something that I just wanted to also put out there to the viewers, that it's not about people knowing that it's wrong or knowing it's going to hurt somebody. It's about the excuses that we give ourselves.
It's
And
about the excuses that we give ourselves.
yes,
We know
and yeah, and
hurting
your hurt is
somebody, we
valid.
all know for sure. Yes, your hurt
Yes.
is valid. I understand, but
Yeah.
your hurt is not worth hurting another woman.
Right. So what we need to focus on right now as we are listening to you, as we're getting the message from you, is what you have learned from it. Because what we think we're getting from getting into this relationship where you just don't care. Because I feel like you were saying it's selfish. So it means you just don't care about what the
You
other
just don't
woman is going
care.
to feel, or you don't even care about your own worth. You don't even care about the children involved or everybody
Yes,
else involved in this
you
situation.
just don't
But
care.
you don't care, but at the end of the day, even if you don't care, you are doing more harm to yourself than you were before you got into that situation.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Exactly.
So here you've got this quote that you said, he is cheating. He's not just cheating on his wife, he's cheating on his children. You've said it
Yes.
already, but maybe you can expand, just get everyone to understand what your thought process is there.
Yeah. When we talk about the topic of raising children, most of the times we find the picture not balanced because it almost looks like bringing up children is the mother's duty.
Right.
And that is why we sit with a society of young men and women who are saying, I am this because my father was never present. And he was never present because he was busy with Unonhlanhla. I'm sorry about that, but I still remember exactly which part we were at. You had just
Okay.
read one of my quotes. He's not just cheating on his wife, he's cheating on his children. And
Yes.
I was explaining what we currently see in our society where the picture of parenting is not balanced. And it's not balanced because it looks like mothers are the one who are more in the picture as compared to fathers. And
Yes.
why am I saying he's cheating on his children? He takes up his money that he could be spending on fathering his children and spends it with me or the other woman. He
Yes.
spends money that he should be spending on his children on the other woman.
Yes.
He is displaying a behavior that
Right.
could ruin how his daughter sees a man, and that
Mm-hmm.
could ruin how his son thinks a man should be. And that
Indeed.
is the worst, part of this situation. Because I'm not
Right.
saying it's fair, I'm not saying it's fair what is happening to the wives. And yes, many don't ever even get to heal. But what it
Mhm.
does to the children goes way deeper.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, I hear you. And I think a lot of people need to think about these things because we are always thinking it's about the two of you, but it's not.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
not just about the two of you. It's going to be about the wife. Yes, the wife has also her issues, but the children are innocent, and these are the
Yeah.
scars that we are trying to now even um deal with right now
See,
as we are older. We have men that are
exactly.
broken out there because of these
Exactly.
things, and if we want
Yeah.
to be part of the solution, you cannot be part of the problem.
Yeah.
So
And
some
if
of
you,
the choices that we made, yeah.
yeah, even when you look at the stats for divorce,
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest contributors to that is cheating. And how many children do we see suffer after their parents have separated? So this thing goes beyond just you wanting to have a thing with the married man, or it's a weekend thing, or those who say no, he works here, he goes home month end, so it's okay for him to have a woman here. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond that.
Are we good now?
Okay, I just heard your voice, but you're still not on screen.
There we are.
Yep, cool.
Oh, the devil is a liar.
He is such a liar.
We are going to get this.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I was talking about um how to handle the other you in a marriage.
Okay.
You can add anything if you have something.
How to handle the other.
You in your own marriage.
Okay. Uh, I pray to God I never have to deal with that when I get married. Um, but here's the thing, uh, a lot of women have hurt themselves. I'm going to continue speaking if I believe that I'm still on screen. Yeah, which I believe I still
I'm
am.
still having connection issues. So please just keep going.
Yeah, I'll continue. So, a lot of women find themselves hurting because of this, because of another woman who is coming to their space. The first thing that I'm going to do is I will ask of those who are disturbed by the other woman in their marriages to find a place in their heart to heal themselves. You see, this situation is between two people who have decided that they're going to be selfish and be in a relationship that brings hurt to you as the married woman. So, my first plea to you is find a place within you where you can find healing. I always see a lot of women. Okay, let me not say I always, most of the times, a lot of women want to attack the other woman. Of course, maybe you've got your reasons, and yes, you're angry. But the one person who's closest to you that you can talk to in order to make sure that this thing ends, this extra marital relationship ends, if that is the solution you guys want to take, is your husband. The time you spend fighting the girl or the other woman out there and not addressing the source of the problem is going to delay the process. Am I saying you should let go and just let the woman have fun? No. What I'm saying is that there are two people in this relationship, but there's one that you have more opportunity of talking to. There's one that you have access to most of the times, and that is your husband. And that is the person who must end things. Because most of these times, we, the other woman, the former me, we are normally selfish. We don't even care if you're screaming or shouting or insulting. We don't even care. Most of the times when you start shouting and screaming and sending messages, we just look at you as the frustrated woman, and all we do is to stick around and make your man happy. I know it's selfish, but that's the reality. Once we see you doing all the screaming, we stick around and we are with this guy. We actually tell him that, look, your wife's crazy. So I am saying deal with the source of the problem. Yes, I said there would not be any relationship if I had said no. But I would not have to say no if the man did not approach me. So if you sit your husband down and you guys find out what problems you have within your marriage that are causing him to disrespect you and disrespect your children like that, please use that opportunity to sit down with him and help. You know, at some point I said, maybe we should come together as single ladies and say, please, married women, help us. Whatever issues your husbands have, help us and just keep them because they, but I know that is not fair, but that is the reality of life. That is the reality of life. As I go around trying to help young girls and young women out there to say no to married men, I also wish somebody was on the other side and saying to the married men, don't go there. Don't go there. Whatever issues you have with your wife, try and sort them out in your house. Whatever it is that you've lost the spark, because a lot of people give that excuse that they've lost the spark at home. Whatever it is, find it back. Go to therapies, go to marital counseling, go to couples retreat or whatever, just to find the spark back so that they would not go out and do that. But the one thing I don't want married women to do is to continue to hurt. And I'm saying this because I have met and dealt with a lot of married women who, after 10 years of divorcing, after I had given my talk and I said, because part of my story is to say to all married women out there, I'm sorry. And I'll take this opportunity to say that even now, to say, I am sorry. I'm sorry that you had to deal with me. I'm sorry that you had to deal with the likes of me. I'm sorry for ruining your marriage. I'm sorry for taking what did not belong to me. And I've seen a lot of women heal just after I've said those words. I've seen them cry tears. And they felt that, you know what? If only somebody had just said that to me. Sorry. Because let's not lie. Yes, men do bad things to us, but woman to woman pain hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts so deep. Woman to woman pain hurts. And that is why I wish women would just say no. Yes, the advances will come. Because I know I'm not saying men are all innocent. The advances will come. All I'm asking is that let us say no. Let us say no and see how they continue to do that. With who? Because we would have said no. And you're not saying no to him because you're doing his wife a favor. No, you're saying no to him because you're doing yourself a favor. You're doing yourself a favor because you deserve more than that. You're doing yourself a favor by not getting into a relationship that is built on lies, that is built on hate, that is built on selfishness, because that is being selfish. And I really do hope women could hear this and be able to make better choices than I did. With me, for 4 years, I spoiled a marriage. Maybe they did work their things out eventually, if there was ever anything wrong, but they were eventually together without me. I don't know if there were other women in the picture, but I was not part of it any longer, and the marriage continued. But what I'm saying is that whatever issues they had, they would have solved them quicker if that 4 years was not spent having me on the side that made the guy be able to say, oh, even if I don't fix my marital issue, I always have a woman that I can go to blow up steam, to to calm myself when things are not okay. And from there, he goes back home. So whoever is in this, whoever is thinking about this, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. One day you're going to sit like I did and realize that you were in all of that time you spent in that relationship, you were nothing. Even the title, the other woman, is too big for us. We are just nothing. And that is why my story, or that part of my life story, I call it the other empty woman. Because you're not just another woman, you are an empty woman. So my message is to say, really, I can't stress it enough. It's just not worth it. It's not worth putting your life through that. It is not worth putting those children through. I mean, I had kids myself, and my kids were still young, yes, at the time, but they are older now. And they've come to understand that this person who used to come at home and buy them gifts and all of that was actually a married man. He had children who deserved him better than they did, who deserved his time and his money. And I've had to tell this story first to own up to my mistakes and to teach my son and my daughter that they must not do that. I mean, one of the wake up calls, yes, I talk about the time when I was now in a relationship and I felt that I was scared to meet me. But one of the other things, one of the worst things that also gave me a wake up call was that I had a daughter and I kept asking myself, will I be happy to see another man treat my own daughter as second best? And the answer was no. And that is why I had to stop. The answer was no. I couldn't deal with the fact that I could have a daughter who grew up to be just like me. I had to clean up my act. I had to accept my mistakes and actually use my life story as a lesson. Even if it meant my story would change or help my daughter make better choices in life, I was happy with that. But God, being gracious as He is, He really has turned my life in such a way that I've been able to help more than just my own daughter, to learn from my mistakes, to learn from the selfish decisions that I made. Because, yes, we might keep using the word mistake, but these are all things that happen out of selfish decisions that we take. And owning up to that story has actually given me the freedom from guilt, because I did say even in the beginning that, there's regret and there's guilt. Yes, I regretted that. And that was it. I told myself that, oh, no, I'm never going to do this again. And yeah, but I still had this mindset that, you know what? Men are weak. They will go for anything at any time. They will leave their wives, leave their beautiful houses, and go around and be with girls in the streets, go sleep at lodges and hotels and all of that for a weekend of fun and then go home. That's how I viewed men. But then again, another thing, I have a son. Is that how I want my son to be? Did I depend on the world to teach him to be a better man and do things right? I had to use my own story to help build my own son, so that when I tell him to respect women, so that I tell him that, son, the day you get married, respect your wife. He'll be able to do that, knowing very well that this is a true story that my mother shared with me, and this is a story that I don't want to relive. And for my children, I really decided to take up the courage to say, I'm going to talk about these things so that my lesson could be live in their lives, so that they can learn directly from mom and know that it is human to own up to your mistakes. And when you own up to your mistakes, you sort of writing yourself a letter to say, Nonhlanhla, I'm holding you accountable. You are getting better. You are going to be a better woman, and I'm going to hold you responsible. So I've held myself responsible by sharing this story. You see, the first time I did it, I said to myself, Here's a trick that I'm going to use, because after men hear me say this, no married men would dare come to me. They know I'm going to talk about them on Angel's show. They mustn't dare come to me. So it became
I
one of
love
those,
that.
because there's opportunities everywhere, guys. We need to create opportunities everywhere. So I said to myself, you know what, this I'm going to do. And I remember there was a time when one of my exes, so remember I said this was one particular relationship. That was not the end of it, because this thing, you do it and you regret and you go back until your conscience says guilty. You won't change, because regret is nothing. Your conscience has not yet accepted that you are wrong. So that relationship ended, but now and then I would flirt with married men, you know. It was only when I wrote myself that letter to say, Nonhlanhla, I am holding you accountable. Start telling the public about this, so that you are not the only one who's checking up on you. I mean, for you, Angela, I don't think you'd watch me do this, because you'd always remind me that you, of all people, you see. So this has been my healing journey. Coming out with this story has actually helped me heal better and quicker.
I am so in awe of you, and thank you so much. This is amazing. There's a comment here. Someone says, "Amazing. Thank you for really being honest and vulnerable." We do not get a lot of people being honest and vulnerable, and that's why people are not healing. Like you were saying, we are not healing because we are refusing to face ourselves. We
Yes.
when we are unaware of the things that we are doing, some of us maybe are being selfish and unaware that it's selfish, but sometimes we are, sometimes we are aware, but we do not want to face and confront it. And this is a step in the right direction, when you confront and say, I have made a mistake. There's no
Girl, you
intention.
are
I'm taking
wrong.
responsibility of
Yeah.
the wrongdoing because I'm hurting other people. So thank you so much, Sisno, for being very courageous and coming to this show to speak to every woman that can listen, that is potentially going to be the other woman, or who's dealing with the other woman, or who has seen someone failing to step out of that space. Because all we need is people to realize their worth, because everyone deserves someone who gives them all their attention and all their emotional availability.
Sure.
So I think I'm going to share the quotes that Sisno prepared for us after the show, because I feel we didn't do justice because of my network, which could just go down anytime now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, you've got a lot of stories. You're gonna come back. We still have to talk about raising boys.
Yes.
Next month we're even bringing men to the show, because we want to hear their perspective.
I
So
can't wait.
Sisno, you are going to be part of a panel that we are going to have men here asking them the questions, the relevant questions that they should be asked. So I'm
Sure.
excited to bring you again on the show. But thank you so much for sharing candidly
Thank
and
you.
authentically. We love you so much.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. I love everybody. Thank you for engaging with us today. Thank you for being here. It was an honor to talk to you guys. Thank you.